We got down to minus 12 across parts of Scotland last night. So that combination of rapid snowmelt, fast runoff, could well provide some hazards to the east of the Grampians as those rivers flow down into the North Sea. That's certainly one to watch.
Thousands of passengers still face disruption to travel plans this morning after a security scare led to a large section of Gatwick Airport being closed. 2 people were temporarily detained by police after reports of a suspicious package in the South Terminal before they were allowed to continue their journeys. Simon Calder, travel correspondent of The Independent, spent yesterday at Gatwick. Simon, good morning.
Good morning, Callum. Yeah, absolutely miserable. There were due to be about 100,000 passengers flying in and out of Gatwick. At least 10,000 had their flights cancelled, and many, many more found that they endured very long delays, lack of communication, and all for an incident which possibly has been described by one airline executive as an absurd abundance of caution. As you report, 2 people were going through South Terminal, and they were found to be carrying an item that looked suspicious, at which point, 10:28 exactly, there was an announcement to evacuate the whole South Terminal. That looks after British Airways, Ryanair, Wizz Air, many other airlines, and it was about 4 hours before passengers started to trickle back in. I was there yesterday early evening, and it was still an absolute mess. Loads of people trying to rebook their flights, and many others just checking in for flights which were then very, very long delayed. So pretty miserable, I'm afraid, Callum.
Okay, and is it possible to predict how long the misery shall continue?
Okay, well, if you were on one of the flights coming in from places like Orlando, which did go out yesterday, unfortunately, a large number of flights went out with relatively few passengers on, because the airlines always keen to get their planes away, because of course you've got 10,000 people sitting at the other end of these routes. We're sending planes away half full, 1 or 2 of them actually empty, in order to get the planes back on schedule. And with the delays, people will be coming in late. It's also going to be extra busy there because some of the planes yesterday due to go out have been held over, for instance, to Kingston, Jamaica, and then there will be extra flights, I understand, laid on. An awful lot of people trying to get out to Egypt, lovely place to be at this time of year, and also a lot of people waiting in Sharm el Sheikh and Hurghada to come back to lovely Gatwick. So busy but recovering.
And how about the storm? What's the weather forecast, and how disruptive could that be to travel today?
Well, I'm here at York Station, and you've got snow, ice, rain and high winds forecast in various proportions in various parts of the country. Central Scotland, actually around Perth, particularly badly hit. But all the transport operators warning of possible disruption. South Western Railway says do not travel west of Basingstoke unless it's absolutely necessary. I think
never
that's
do anyway.
Something we could all live by. Yes. We've also got some cancellations at Heart of Wales line on Transport for Wales. There's cancellations here already at York Station on Transpennine, but that is more to do with staff shortage. So it's watch and wait. Roads obviously going to be treacherous in a number of places, particularly in Central Scotland, and ferry services, my goodness, quite a lot of disruption on Calmac ferries in the west of Scotland, out of Oban, for instance, to South Uist, to Cole, to Tiree. Number of cancellations on the English Channel, Newhaven to Dieppe and back today and tomorrow. And really, wherever you're going, hope for the best, be prepared for delays and disruption.
Simon, thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate speaking to you. Simon Calder there at York Station, as you could tell. And I do just want to take a minute, because it's early on a Saturday morning, that with the arrival of snow in Scotland, of course, comes the gritter trucks. Gritney Spears, for example, one of them's called. Taylor Drift. Spready Mercury is a personal favourite. Coldfinger.
These actual names?
Yeah, they name all the
them.
gritters, yeah. Carrie Bradthaw. And Snomer Simpson.
I had that moment on the M25 the other day where they were gritting and I needed to get past the gritter because it was going too slow. But do I want the car to get chipped completely? And it was this sort of, what do I do? What do I do?
Gritting the car.
Yes, because it was going quite slowly. It was doing like 40 miles an hour, whatever, which you would expect was
very
gritting.
slow for you, Chloe.
No, I wasn't. I was observing the speed limit, but the gritter was doing that whilst I'm getting myself in a hole here. But anyway, I decided to overtake it and risk it.
Yeah.
Now, the Met Office is warning that Storm Bert is bringing what it calls a multi-hazard event of snow, rain and strong winds to much of the UK this weekend. The National Highways has also just issued a severe weather alert for snow affecting Yorkshire and the northeast of England. Gareth Heaton runs a cutlery shop in Ilkley.
Sorry, where we are at the moment, I can't see any. I can see a few tracks on the road where the cars have been around, but only one or two cars. It's really still where we are. There's no action at all outside at the minute.
How much snow have you got?
I'd say it's looking like 4 inches on top of car roofs. Yeah.
Blimey. So
it's really blizzard-like out here. It's really it's unlike anything I've seen before.
So it's still snowing?
Yeah, it's coming down quite hard, aye.
Well, let's speak now to meteorologist John Hammond from Weather Trending. Morning, John.
Hi, Chloe.
Busy morning for you, keeping track of everywhere. So we've heard from Ilkley, it's pretty bad. Give us a sense of the worst affected areas.
Well, the sequence of events is going pretty much according to plan. In fact, in Ilkley, I wouldn't be at all surprised if it's beginning to turn back to rain now. It certainly is across other parts of Yorkshire. The focus of the snowfall, Chloe, is extending further northwards through parts of Durham, Tyne-and-Wear, up into Northumberland, and more particularly Scotland as we head into the lunchtime period and the afternoon as well. Milder air, much milder air, is pushing steadily northeastwards across the country, which is why most of us actually are experiencing wind and rain rather than snow. But that cold air has become trapped, as it often does in this setup, over into the east of the Pennines and up into eastern parts of Scotland. Now, it is Scotland, I think, where most of the snow hazards will be focused through the afternoon. Several inches of snow blowing around in a strong wind, so there'll be big drifts. And then as we head towards the latter part of the day, as that mild air arrives, so that snow, as it is already across parts of Yorkshire, turning back to rain. And that produces another hazard, of course, the potential for flooding. I think the flooding concerns will be mostly, again, focused across Scotland, A, because that's where most of the snow will fall, and B, because that's where the ground is most solidly frozen. We got down to -12 across parts of Scotland last night. So that combination of rapid snow melt, fast runoff, could well provide some hazards to the east of the Grampians as those rivers flow down into the North Sea. That's certainly one to watch. In terms of the rainfall, it's quite widespread elsewhere across the country. And the winds, well, we've seen gusts of 70 miles an hour already up the west coast and some southern coastal areas as well. So as you say, a triple whammy with the focus shifting from snow to wind and rain as that milder air wins the battle over the cold through this weekend.
Good to speak to you, John. Thank you for that. That's meteorologist John Hammond from Weather Trending. And Becky's got in touch saying, yes, John's absolutely right. I'm in Ilkley. It's turning to rain right now.
There you are.
Met Office has said a multi-hazard event of snow, rain and strong winds will be hitting parts of the UK this weekend. Several yellow warnings are in place across the country. And here with the very latest is Nazanin Gaffer, meteorologist. Nazanin, thanks for giving us your time.
You're most welcome.
Nazanin, are we at the beginning, at the middle, or the tail off end of Storm Bert?
I would say we're somewhat towards the middle, but it's hanging around for much of the weekend. I think in terms of the snowfall, we've already had the worst of it. Now, what's been happening is that Storm Bert has been approaching the west of the UK. Now, thankfully, the strongest winds from Storm Bert are off coasts, but around coastal areas generally, we are still seeing winds gusting up to around 70 miles per hour, in some spots in excess of that. But with it, we've got heavy rain coming through on a very mild southwesterly airflow. But as that heavy rain has hit cold air that sat to the north of the UK, that has turned to heavy snow across northern England and Scotland. Now, that snow is now becoming confined to Scotland for the rest of this afternoon. afternoon. But heavy rains and strong winds still continue to be massive hazards across much of the UK for the rest of today. Rainfall totals, I think, will be highest across the south of Wales, Dartmoor area, where flooding is likely. There could be up to around 100 to 150 millimetres of rain through today and tonight and into tomorrow as well. Snow, as I said, becoming confined across Scotland. But as that mild air floods its way northwards, a rapid thaw is going to happen across much of Scotland and northern England, which could potentially cause some flooding issues as well locally. Meanwhile, into tonight, we continue with the heavy rains, the very strong winds, especially around coastal areas of the north, west and east. It will be a very mild night. Temperatures will be in double figures, widely in the mid-teens for some. And then tomorrow will be exceptionally mild compared to what we've had recently, especially, but above average temperatures right across the UK. Heavy rain still will be a concern across England and Wales, slowly moving eastwards through the day and clearing from eastern Scotland early on. And then to the northwest, winds will strengthen as Storm Bert still is lingering out towards the west of the UK with blustery showers. So it's still going to be incredibly unsettled throughout this weekend, all thanks to Storm Bert.
When do we see the back of Bert?
I think as we head into the new week, Bert starts to ease away and we will see somewhat less unsettled conditions. It will still be unsettled for a couple of days. We will still remain in that milder airflow, and then it looks to turn colder again with the potential of more snow, perhaps around central parts of the UK as heavy rain enters the south of the UK to the northern edge of it on Wednesday. But that's still some time away, so we'll wait and see what happens.
Okay, hold on tight, everyone. Nazanin, thank you so much for your time. Nazanin Ghaffar there, meteorologist.